everyone, and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the new classic metallic nail foils that Kiki London recently launched. So Kiki London very recently launched a whole bunch of nail foil collections and a new foil gel. So in today's video I'm going to be using the classic metallics to create 4 different designs, just so you can get some inspiration and ideas on how to use these foils, because this particular pack were up there with my top favorites, because just look how beautiful the colors are. I love that you've got a selection of holographics, mattes, rose golds, chromes. It's just a brilliant selection. So of course I'm also going to be using the new Kiki London foil gel to apply the foils, as well as their silicone tool, because I find the silicone tool makes application really easy. So to begin with, on the first design, I'm going to be using this gorgeous rosy gold mirror chrome foil. So I'm going to cut out a tiny piece of the nail foil. Now you do want to be careful with your foils because they can be quite delicate. So be careful of any creases or marks that you're putting in them, especially with the metallics, because that can transfer on to the design. So first of all, I'm going to come in with my base color. So I'm going to apply a coat of O Vanilla, starting off with one thin coat and popping that in to cure. Now, if you was working on yourself or a client, you would do all of your prep first of all, then your base coat before coming in with your first layer of colour. Now for this design, I'm going to come in with a second coat of O Vanilla, because I'm not going to be covering the entire nail with the foil. So I want to make sure that I've got a nice even coat of colour down on the nail. So I'm going to pop that second coat in to cure for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to take the Kiki London foil gel, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a small amount on my brush and apply this just roughly to the center of the nail. As you can see, I'm only roughly applying it. I'm not creating a neat shape. I'm just putting a rough patch of that foil gel down. Once that's cured for 30 seconds, I'm going to take my foil and just very lightly tap it on to the area where I've applied the foil. I want this patch of foil to look quite rough. I don't want it to look neat. I want those jagged edges, so that's why I'm pressing down and pulling off quite quickly, so that it leaves a rough patterned effect. But I want it to go for a bit of an abstract vibe. So I'm just going to neaten up the side just so it's a sort of symmetrical shape. And then over the top of that, I'm going to seal it in with my no wipe top coat. I'm going to also be doing some stamping on this design, but I want to seal that foil in before I do my stamping, so that if I then make any mistakes with my stamping, I can wipe the stamping off without removing the foil. So this is really handy if you're going to be doing any nail art over the top of your foils. And to be honest, nail art over the top of foils like stamping is one of my absolute favorite things to do, because the stamping just really, the foil just really brings to life the stamping and adds a completely different effect. So now that I've cured my top coat, I'm going to move on to my stamping. So I've cleaned off my stamping plate with some acetone, applied a generous amount of stamping polish, scraped and rolled my stamper over the top. Then I'm going to remove the excess image, and then I'm going to place this down directly on top of that foil. So I'm just taking my time to line it up, then I'm going to press it down. And just how beautiful does the rose look with that gold rosy chrome background. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. So now I'm going to come in and seal the finished design in with my Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat. I love the rubber top coat for sealing in any nail art. It is that little bit thicker, so I just find it seals everything in beautifully and adds that extra layer of strength as it's doing so. I didn't use the rubber top coat on the first layer of top coat just because I didn't want to add too much thickness, but I've added it on that last final layer of top coat just to give it, like I said, that added layer of strength and to make sure that nail art is really sealed in. And then just look at the shine, it's absolutely beautiful. Moving on to the second design, I'm going to take this gorgeous rose gold holographic foil. This foil is absolutely stunning, and the hollow in it is absolutely crazy, to be honest. It drives my camera crazy when I'm trying to record it, but it's such an amazing foil. So for this foil, I'm going to be doing a full foil nail. So I wanted to pick a colour that either matched or was slightly similar to the foil. So I went for pink tint. Now I'm going to pop down my first coat of colour, and then I'm going to come in and do a second coat of colour because I want there to be a nice pop of colour. Even though you're not going to see much of the colour because we're doing a full foil nail, I personally like to have a similar colour underneath so that if there's any tiny little gaps in your foil, you're not going to notice it. You'll see what I mean further along. But then in all honesty as well, the full cover foil applied absolutely beautifully. So I didn't have any gaps, but it's nice to have the colour underneath as a precaution. So similar to before, once I've cured those two coats of colour, I'm going to come in and apply my foil gel, except for this time I'm applying that foil gel to the entire nail. You want to make sure that you're covering everywhere your foil is going to go. So make sure you pay attention around the cuticle area, along those sidewalls and along the very free edge of the nail, because that can be the areas that are a little bit tricky. So just make sure you've got enough foil gel down there. Then I'm going to press down my foil, and I'm going to take my silicone tool here and start smoothing out all of the creases and the bubbles, making sure that it is adhered to the entire nail as best as possible. So as you can see, I'm being quite heavy with the silicone tool. I'm applying a fair amount of pressure, which can be a little bit tricky to do on these display tips. It's a lot easier to do on yourself or a client. And I'm flicking between both ends of the silicone tool because I do find one end is slightly firmer than the other. Then I'm going to peel back that foil, and you can see from the sheet it's transferred very, very well. There was just a few areas here and there where the foil had creased and I hadn't got that crease out. So I've just come over and re-tapped the foil on to cover those up. And it's covered completely, and just look how holographic this foil is. I really love this, and I think this design or this foil as a full nail would look fab as an accent nail in maybe some nude and rose gold nails. I really can't wait to start going into these more autumn rosy gold colours. So I've again applied my top coat to seal that in. I went for the rubber top coat again, and then I've popped that in to cure for a full 60 seconds. And just look how gorgeous it looks. Again, you could pop some nail art over the top of this, either some stamping or some crystals would look good. So on to the third design, I've already done 2 coats of O Vanilla, curing both of those for 30 seconds. And then on this now, I'm removing the tacky inhibition layer. Now I'm removing the tacky inhibition layer because I only want to be applying my foils to certain sections on the nail. So what that can mean is if you just come in and left that tacky layer and then applied your foil gel in some of the areas, your foil might still stick to the tacky layer of your gel polish. And that would mean on this particular design, it would be sticking in areas where I don't want there to be foil. So I've removed that tacky inhibition layer. Then I've popped some of my foil gel down onto a palette. And then I'm just drawing on some areas where I want my foil to go. I did one area at a time to make it easier. So I've kept the design quite simple. I've just swirled across the top corner of the nail, and then I'm going to repeat that down at the cuticle area end as well. But I'm just doing the top area to begin with. I flicked between using the Kiki London stripe liner brush and the foil gel bottle brush to do this. Then I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And this time I'm going to take this beautiful, I want to say matte, but it's more of a satin effect rose gold foil. It looks absolutely beautiful. And I love that there's, like I said, a variety of different types of metallic foils in this, because these colours are quite like your staple foil colours. They're going to be the ones that you get a lot of use out of all year round. So it's great that there's a variety of different ones to choose from. Now that the foil gel has cured, I'm going to press this down onto that area. I haven't got to worry about where else it's touching on the nail because I've only got my foil gel in this one section. Again, using my silicone tool, to really smooth that out. And then I'm just checking how it's applying, peeling back slowly. And if there's any areas that haven't transferred, I can rub that foil back down. Here you can see there was a few little gaps along the free edge and the free edge and the side walls of the nail. So I'm just tapping over them as well. Then I'm going to go on and do exactly the same pretty much down at the cuticle area. And I love this effect of having a combination of the foils and a nude color gel polish, or any color gel polish to be honest. It also looks really great if you're doing a French nail as well and you just do the tip with your foil. It can be a little bit tricky because the foil gel is clear to see where you're painting it, especially on camera. It's probably hard for you guys to see exactly where it is. It's a little bit easier to see in real life, but if you are struggling to see where you're applying it, then pop a matte top coat down before you apply your foil gel, because then you'll be able to see the difference between the shiny foil gel and your matte surface. Once again, popping that foil gel in to cure for 30 seconds, and then I'm going to repeat that exact same process of pressing that foil down. You want to be quite careful at this point that you're not pressing over the top of the previous foil that you've applied, because that hasn't been sealed in, so you don't want to end up pulling any of it off or messing it up. So be quite careful when you are working on different areas of the one nail. Again, that transferred pretty well. I'm just going to tap over in a few areas just to make sure I've got as full on coverage as possible. Then what I'm going to do is I've taken some of the Kiki London Black Heart gel polish and I've popped that down on my palette, and I've gone back to that same stripe liner brush, and I'm just going to go along the edge where the foil ends just to make a nice, neat, crisper line. This is just to add a little bit extra detail. I think it kind of just created a bit of a marble stone effect look to the nail, which I really liked, by just adding on a few hand painted lines. So I'm going to start off, like I said, with the black heart, and I'm just going along where the foil edge is, being really careful to follow the curves and the contours that we created with the foil, just so there's no gap between the black heart and the foil. And I love the stripe liner brush for this because it just makes any hand painted nail art really, really easy. Once I've applied the black, I'm going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds. And then I decided I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to this nail. So I've taken the gorgeous champagne spritz, which is from the Kiki London Spring Bling collection. I love these glitter gel polishes. They are amazing. And again, I love combining foils with other nail art. So glitter and foils are another thing that work really well in combination together. Now with the champagne spritz, I'm simply following along where I've applied that black line, but I have left a slight gap just to break it up a little bit. And I'm kind of applying the gel polish quite thin to begin with, and then I'm going over it and thickening it up just so you can really see the pop of colour, because I'm only going to be doing one coat of this glitter gel polish. So I'm going to do the same going along the top and the bottom line. And just like before, I'm trying to follow the curves and the contours of the foil and the black line, just because I think it gives off quite a nice look and it's a little bit more appealing to the eye than creating a separate wavy line, if that makes sense. So I've cured that for 30 seconds and this was the finished result. I'm then going to come in and seal all of the hand painted nail art and the foil in with my rubber top coat, popping that in to cure for 60 seconds. And then here you can see the finished result. I really, really liked this design, and I love how you can combine the foils with lots of other nail arts techniques to create different designs. Moving on to the fourth and final design, I'm going to cut out 3 pieces of foil from 3 different colours. So I went for the 3 sort of mirror chrome effect ones rather than the matte or the holographic effect. So I went for 2 of the more rosy gold tones and then 1 of the classic yellow golds. And just look how gorgeous those 3 colours are. Then on this now, I'm going to come in and pop 1 layer of Kiki London's Black Heart down. Now, Black Heart is a very, very pigmented black gel polish, and a thin layer usually is enough for 1 coat, especially if you're going to be covering it up anyway. So I'm going to pop that first coat in to cure for 30 seconds. And because I'm covering it up, I'm not going to come in with a second coat because, like I said, it is quite highly pigmented. Then on this now, again, I'm doing a full foil now. So I'm going to come in and cover the entire nail with a thin, even layer of the foil gel and cure that for 30 seconds. Then on this now, I'm going to tap all three of those foils randomly on the nail, letting them layer up and touch each other because it's going to create a really fun textured look. Now, because these colours were quite similar, it is a little bit hard on camera, especially to see the difference in the colours, but in real life, it looked absolutely beautiful. And it also looks really, really pretty if you use lots of different colours as well. So if you had some pinks, some purples and some blues, it would look beautiful. And that's definitely something I will show you guys further along in another video, I'm sure. But for now, this is how beautiful it looks. It's a little hard to see here. So what I did to show you guys the different colors is I popped a matte top coat over. So I'm going to come in and pop a thin layer of the matte top coat down just so you can see the difference on camera between the colored foils. I didn't end up leaving it matte because I didn't really like the effect of the foils on this particular design matte, but I just wanted to show you how you can see the different areas, the different colors. So as you can see there, you can catch the three different looks and you can still see a little bit of that black around the outline, which gives off quite a cool effect once you've got the glossy top coat over the top. So I'm going to come in and apply a thin layer of the no wipe rubber top coat, and then that finishes this design, which then leads us to the end of the video. So I really hope you all enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, then please do give it a thumbs up or leave us a comment below. Now, I do have all of the Kiki London foils, so do let me know if there's a certain foil you would like to see or a certain foil collection you would like to see in action, and I can get a video done on that. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.